This episode of the ResortLoop.com podcast is brought to you by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's is proud to be the official specialty coffee of Disney. Enjoy drinks and pastries at Joffrey's kiosks throughout the parks and check out the Disney Specialty Coffee Collection only at Joffreys.com.
To make a wish come true.
Live from Main Street during Wishes, it's Fish Song Woo.
And G Woo.
And you're getting ready to listen to
the next Resort Loop podcast with Tim and Bob, or Bob and Tim. Roll 'em!
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We're getting closer to the 200, but you've tuned in for episode 199 of ResortLoop.com. He's Bob Collar.
I am, and you are...
Oh, how soon they forget. It took 199 episodes. I'm Tim Scott, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
I was focused on Ji-Woo and her wonderful open and that guy she was hanging out with.
She has a guy?
Watching Wishes. How about that?
Oh, nice.
Can you imagine a beautiful summer or early spring night in Florida watching Wishes?
I can only imagine it right now.
But anyway, Tim.
Times.
Hey, we've got a big show coming up on the next show.
We do. Next show number 200 of ResortLoop.com. We're announcing a grand prize winner in our 2 years and 200th episode.
Can you believe that?
I cannot.
It's going to be a big show. Big show. Very excited about this show.
I want to spill the beans, but I won't.
No, we're not going to say anything.
No.
We're going to keep it to ourselves.
That's right.
So, anyway, Tim.
Yo, Bob.
You know, I got to thinking, this is the time of year that folks start to go on vacation.
Or at least start planning, yeah.
Or at least start planning a vacation.
Yeah.
So, got me to thinking. You know, we talk to a lot of people. And a lot of people, it'll be their first time going to Walt Disney World.
Great time.
And, you know, they're always asking us for advice. What should we do? What should we ride? So we thought, you know, let's put together a show.
Yes. Kind
of going over some of the things, our recommendations for a first-time visit to Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And some of the mistakes that people will make.
Yes.
The first-time visitors.
Okay.
So here's our scenario. We're just we're making up our own scenario.
We're doing it as we go.
It's going to be your typical week-long American family vacation.
All right, family of four.
Family of four.
Okay.
It's not going to be a fortnight like our pals over in Europe.
No.
So it's going to be just about a 5-day, 6-night vacation, whatever it is, 6-night, 5-day. A typical vacation package that Disney's going to sell you.
All right.
So right out of the gate, I got to ask the question.
Right. Okay.
When we're recommending first-time visitors, do we recommend getting the park hoppers as part of your package?
I am going to say no.
Why?
It's tough because, you know, I'm a big fan of the park hopper.
Well, absolutely.
I'm trying to think, if it was my first trip, I think I would be too confused for leaving and going to a different park. I think I need to maintain a day's focus. We're going to concentrate on this park. We're going to get what we can get done here without worrying about leaving. Or if we do leave, we'll just come right back to where we were. You don't have to learn 2 new lay of the lands.
I agree, 100%. We as seasoned visitors to the park, we kind of know the quickest transportation to get there. We know how to do it. We know what we're looking for when we park hop, where we're going. Too confusing, I think, for the first time visitor.
So.
Because as you know, one of the things that one of the big mistakes that people are going to make is trying to see it all.
Yes, don't do that.
So we're talking 46 square miles, 4 parks, Disney Springs, all the resorts. You're not going to see it all.
No.
It's impossible.
You want to hit the highlights and some stuff maybe friends have told you about you have to see.
Right.
And keep your eye on that stuff for like another trip. I always say, the best way to get over your first trip, not just to get over your first trip, to enjoy your first trip more is know you're coming back on a second trip.
That's a good tip.
Because you can anything you miss, you can see on your next trip. You don't have to worry about it so much.
That's right. Yeah, that's one of the things that I've kind of told my kids is, look, we'll be back. Don't worry. If we miss something, we'll be back.
Exactly.
You know.
Last trip to TTA, when we were there, the TTA was down.
Oh, that could be crushing.
It was kind of sad, but I'm thinking, we'll be back sometime next year. We'll ride it again. It'll be fine.
Right. So keep that in mind. You know, you're not going to see everything. So I agree with you 100%. One park per day. Don't be muddy in the waters trying to jump around.
Exactly. Because if you have a dinner reservation, and whatever, if you're in a different park, you don't have to worry about getting from one park to the other if you're a new visitor.
Right.
That's a whole other bit of logistics there you don't have to try to explain and try to figure out on your first trip.
That's right. You're exactly right. Speaking of dinner then, the other question that's going to be asked as they're booking that first trip to Walt Disney World, what's this dining plan and should I get the dining plan?
Ooh, I have a hard time recommending the dining plan anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
Unless it's a free throw-in, like you're booking at a time when you can get it for free.
Right, yeah, you can't pass that up.
No, you can't, but it's such a mostly break-even thing.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Right.
If you got to be an eater.
Yeah, you got to plan to do it.
And typically somebody that's their first trip down there, they're not going to be thinking about food. They're going to be thinking about, what am I going to ride next? I got to ride all these rides. What am I riding next? They're not thinking like you and I go down, and we can make those dining reservations, and make sure we set aside that time to enjoy that meal. We know about how long it's going to take and how long to get to whatever the restaurant is and all of that. So, yeah, I agree. I think if it's your first time down there, you might as well just go counter service. It's quicker. Typically, the food's a little lighter. So,
right. You don't have to explain, double dining credits, snack credits.
Yes.
Just, as long as the money's in the budget to eat, just when you're hungry, get something to eat.
Right. Yeah, exactly. One of the tips that I've heard on other shows is maybe get yourself a separate like Visa card that you can get, and just use that or put however much the dining plan would cost you on that Visa card.
Okay.
Use that for your dining, and then anything that's left over, you get to keep.
Right. I can see that.
Whereas if you buy the dining plan, anything you haven't spent the money on, Disney gets to keep that.
I think people build too much into I have to have the money on some kind of card.
Well, true.
As long as the money's in your account somewhere and you can just get to it with your regular debit card, you're good to go.
Right.
I mean, I understand when to separate it so you don't actually accidentally spend it.
Right. Some people like to do that.
But I mean, you're just moving
budget.
beans around at that point. Just
Yeah.
But whatever you're into.
Good point.
Remember back in the day when you do traveler's checks?
Oh my God.
We would do traveler's checks almost every vacation.
Oh, always.
When you go to the AAA or wherever, get your traveler's checks, you're always so excited because that means you were going on vacation.
Oh yeah, and it took you an hour to get them because you had to sign every one of them ahead of time or
then
whatever.
Double signed so either you or your wife could use them.
Right. Exactly.
That was good stuff, the old traveler's checks.
Exactly. And then you had to hope wherever you were stopping for gas or the hotel for the night that they accepted the traveler's checks.
Yeah, we actually only use the traveler's checks at Disney most of the time.
Really?
Yeah, we saved them for down there.
Yeah.
Because once you give them a 50, they give you back a bunch of cash, then you had some cash to use.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I think we need to bring back the traveler's check.
Traveler's checks, yeah. Good Lord, how old are we?
Oh. I remember when Benjamin Franklin handed me the first traveler's check. He looked at me over his bifocals, his rose-colored bifocals.
I'm not sure that's you. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I don't like the dining plan for first-time visitors. I don't like park hoppers for first-time visitors.
I'm finding the easier you can make it for the first-timer, the more enjoyment they're going to have.
Absolutely.
Just looking this thing over as we're going.
What about these folks that? And we have some here that I've talked to. This always cracks me up when they say, well, I want to wait until the kids are a little bit older.
Oh, my goodness. That drives me nuts. You deserve a vacation. Just if you can't take the kid with you.
Well, and we've touched on this a few times in other shows. What are you talking about? Older? I mean, if they reach a certain age, now the really fun rides for them when they're younger are not going to be fun anymore.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
a 10-year-old boy, for example, he's not going to be digging on riding Dumbo.
No.
Or the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Yes.
He's not going to be into that.
Some of our favorite trips when our kids were just super small.
Absolutely.
Just little guys and girls.
And that's a good way for you as an adult, as a parent, to kind of test the waters with Disney anyway.
Yes.
The kids are cheaper because they're not eating as much.
Where are they free? What's their free age? Is it like 3?
Up to 3 years old.
So why not take them?
Right. And they're going to be napping in the stroller.
Yes.
You got the stroller, which gives you time to kind of enjoy the parks too.
Right.
You wait till they're too old, you're missing out on an awful lot.
I concur.
All right. Just checking.
No. You're dead on.
Just checking. What about, obviously, it has become a little more involved in planning of the trips. First time traveler, do you recommend they get with an authorized Disney travel planner, or do they risk it and try doing it on their own?
I would go with an authorized Disney travel person.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
so. It's become so convoluted with the ADRs.
Yes.
And your Fast Pass pluses.
Right. And even more, maybe more important than that kind of thing, if a discount comes out and you're not watching for them, your agent's going to let you know.
Well, that too, yeah.
So you could save a lot of money just by going through a travel agent.
Absolutely. And, a certified or authorized Disney travel planner is going to help you kind of plan your trip anyway, because they may recommend, look, if you're going to go to the studios, you want a good seat for Fantasia, you might want to buy that dinner and a show package that they have, where you can have dinner someplace and then you get the preferred seating over at for Fantasmic. I should say, not Fantasia, Fantasmic. That's they're going to give you a little bit more advice,
right,
for that first time traveler. What kind of advice would you say? Now, once do they drive? Do they fly?
Ooh. Well, that's got to be on a family by family basis, I would have to say.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if your kids don't travel well by car, if you have a 16-hour drive ahead of you,
right,
and the kids and the whole family just start to wig out after about 2.
Yeah, and it depends on where they're coming from too.
Yes.
I mean, you might have to. I mean, somebody coming from Washington State,
yes,
is not driving.
Time of year. If you're driving from like around here in the wintertime.
Right.
You could hit or miss some major storms and have some big problems.
Get stuck up in those Allegheny Mountains.
Yep.
Appalachian
so flying might be your way to go. I suggest direct if it's at all possible.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because once you get wheels up, you're going to land somewhere in Florida.
Always. Anywhere you're going, as far as I'm concerned, a direct flight is always.
Yeah. Well, that's true too.
So that gives them, of course, now they're tied to Disney transportation if they're flying.
Well, if they don't rent a car, they are. Yes.
Would you recommend sticking with Disney transportation?
Are they doing
Are
they doing a Disney only trip?
Now, keep in mind this is their first time.
First time. I'm going to suggest, like, this is a good thinker for me. Because the gears are turning. I can hear them.
Smoke.
You can probably see it. I'm going to say skip a rental car and go the Magical Express. Make it as simple as possible.
Exactly.
Get them to the resort.
I agree. Wow.
I know.
This is weird.
I got to be honest, MCO is a great place to rent a car, man. You get in and out of there quickly.
You do, but there's some of those traps.
There are lots of traps.
That whole turnpike thing, or whatever they want to call it, up there, you got to pay the tolls.
Did you hear about this thing they're going to be doing on I-4?
What?
What's it called? Oh, they're going to totally redo it. Sounds like I-4 from like Tampa to maybe even past Orlando. I don't know. It's called some big ultimate I-4. Maybe it's I-4 Ultimate. I don't even know.
I'll have to look at that.
I'm going to have to start checking out that back way, that western way over to Disney, I think. I've not tried it, but I've heard some couple good things from that.
I've done that route.
What do you think?
You don't want to go through Atlanta, though. You don't want to, for us,
no.
Northeast Ohio, and we don't want to go Down 75.
North of Orlando, you catch something that takes you to that western way that pops out by
okay. So you're going around it. Okay.
Try to go around it.
Yeah.
We'll see what this I-4 thing is going to be. But a couple things I looked at was it's going to be I'll just sum it up as a disaster.
Oh, good.
Because there's never any construction on I-4 when I'm down there.
Well, luckily we're not familiar at all with construction issues.
Nothing
up here.
Oh my goodness.
The roads are pristine.
Oh, I saw like a chuck hole that was like a foot deep, literally.
Oh yeah.
Oh, anyway.
This time of year, it's rough. All right, so let's review what we've got so far.
Yes,
we've got go with a package. No park hopper, just a regular park ticket. No dining plan, and use the Magical Express. Use Disney Transportation.
Yes, and the Disney travel agent.
And an authorized Disney travel plan.
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
I was thinking, another thing about the travel agent I was thinking about, and maybe you'll touch on this. I might be jumping the gun, which I tend to do.
Yeah.
Steer you to an appropriate resort for your size family.
That's where I was going next.
Well, hit the road. I'll just sit back and listen.
If it's your first time, someone's come to you. I come to you. I say,
yes.
Tim.
Yes, Bob.
I've never been to Walt Disney World.
I call you a liar. But for the sake of this, I'll say, what do you need, Bob?
Where should I stay? Can I just stay like across the street?
Not there, you can't. I will tell you what my suggestion will be. As long as it's in your budget.
Yeah.
And we're going with a family of 4. I'm going to steer you to a moderate.
Oh, why is that?
I dig the All-Stars, the value resort thing.
Yeah.
But the moderate, you get so much more for the price increase. You're getting a much more theming. I think you're going to enjoy that much more. The Disney was going to suck you in a little bit more.
That's a good call.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, if you can't afford the deluxe, I would recommend going deluxe if you can afford it.
Well, yeah,
because that's gonna really make your trip special. But if you can't go deluxe, absolutely you got to go with a moderate. But if you can't even afford a moderate, don't stay off property.
No, don't let the value scare you.
Don't. Yeah.
They're nice. They're nice properties.
For that first trip to Walt Disney World, you really want to be immersed in the magic.
Yeah, I was kind of going with if it's your first trip, maybe you're not going to spend the money on deluxe till you actually see what things are like down there.
Right.
So I think the moderate's strangely enough, a good mid-range moderate call.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and again, it's all relative.
Right. Well, yeah. It's
to Disney. It's not. The other thing you got to explain to people is it's not going to be inexpensive.
I tell them that going in, absolutely.
You're spending money when you go.
Yes.
And be prepared to spend the money. Hopefully you will find that it's worth it. It's well worth it.
I think so.
We have found that it's well worth it. That's why we keep going back.
Just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's still not a good value for what you get.
Exactly. So, all right. So they're down there. They're staying at a nice moderate, enjoying the pool and all the amenities. And what is your recommendation for now touring? We've already said they're only going to go to one park a day, but give me some advice for touring the parks, because we're used to going to amusement parks.
Well, yes.
This is not an amusement park.
No.
It's a theme park.
Way more planning than you would ever need at an amusement park.
Right.
You're going to have to go through and learn a little bit about the My Magic Plus, the Fast Pass system.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to get your 3 good Fast Passes to get your headliners in.
Right.
Because as long as you know you're going to have your headliners at a certain time, you can fill in the gaps. That's where you can do your Country Bear Jamborees, which I think are which is fantastic.
Absolutely. See, my recommendation would be slow down. This is not a theme or an amusement park. This is a theme park. There's a reason it's called a theme park, and that is because they have put an awful lot of thought and planning into the entire experience.
That's why I think the Fast Pass Plus is actually, I'm becoming more of a fan of it.
Yeah.
Because you know when your things are going to be, and like I said, you can fill in the gaps doing things that I would probably have walked past before. Right. Yeah. It is. They've worked out a lot of the bugs. There's still a few out there. Yeah. But for the most part, it's working well. I think it's spreading people out the way that they had originally planned for it to do. I think a lot of people are skipping the rope drop thing.
Yeah.
They're
there's
going
no
in maybe
need,
a
right?
couple hours later because it's when they get their fast pass. They don't need to.
Right.
It's a vacation. You still like to sleep in if you can.
Still like to relax. But I just think that people need to slow down, look around, enjoy the atmosphere that's around you. One of the great things about Disney is there's constantly music being played in all of the areas, and take your time, listen to the things going on, smell the smells. I mean, that
Yes.
popcorn on Main Street, there's just something about that popcorn on Main Street.
When you walk from the hub to a land or from land to land, actually pay attention to the music, how it naturally fades from one to the other.
Yes.
It is awesome.
It is awesome, and you can't hear it. You can't hear the other music once you cross a certain point.
Yep.
So,
or if you're busy yelling at other people's children, you can't hear the music.
Exactly. What about taking that midday break? I don't want to take a midday break. This thing's costing me an arm and a leg.
Ooh.
I got to see it all.
Are you going in the summer? Because you're going to take a midday break.
Well, most people have to take that summer trip. It's usually a summer trip.
If it's a summer trip, take the midday break. If the park closes at some obnoxiously early time in the off season, you can probably just trudge through.
Right.
You can make it. But it's summer, you have to take the midday break.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a good point. Depending on the park hours, that's where that authorized Disney planner will help you figure out what park you want to go in, what day, based on the extra magic hours because you're staying on property.
Right.
So that's yet another great reason to use for that first trip, a Disney authorized travel planner.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I agree with you. You gotta do the midday break because everybody's gonna be hot and tired. It's we talked to Joe Quattrochi not too long ago, and he did the marathons, the Dopey, which is 48 miles of running.
Yes, it is.
But he also logged another 80 miles in walking. From the airport, and all, I mean, he didn't walk all the way from the airport, but he started it at the airport. When he got off the plane, and he stopped it when he got back on the plane to go back to New Jersey. An extra 80 miles. You're doing a lot of walking.
Yes, you are.
So, make sure you're taking that time to hydrate. And as I tell my daughter who's on the golf team, nutrate. That's a new word.
Nutrate?
Nutrate.
Wow. Is that the right tense?
You want to hydrate and nutrate.
Okay.
With nutrition.
An old trait.
I'm an old man, so I should have an old trait.
That's a good call.
You got to make sure you're stopping and taking time to eat. It can be the happiest place on earth, and it cannot be the happiest place on earth, depending on your party. And always keep everybody in mind.
Right, exactly. It only takes one person to get cranky,
and it changes the
for
entire
everybody to get
mood.
cranky. Yes,
exactly. So make sure you grab a Mickey bar, grab a Dole Whip. Grab something to keep yourself cool, but also make sure you're eating and drinking.
It's a good tip.
So,
good tip.
Don't want to. It seems like you don't want to stop. I know I have that tendency. When I go, I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And my family has to rein me in and say it's time to eat.
Right.
We're going to eat. So make sure you make time for that. Think about the people in your party. Anything else you can think of? What else? I got something else. You got anything else for that?
I was just kind of thinking as you were talking. If you don't want to take the day break, just maybe try to grab some lunch somewhere out of the heat.
Sit down and relax. Right.
If you're at the Magic Kingdom, maybe just go over to the Contemporary, get something at the Contempo Cafe. Maybe hit Kona.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
or even just a counter service, at one of the resorts. Because once you get in those resorts, you're in air conditioning for a while.
Yeah, and that's a good point because you can leave the resort without going back to your resort.
Right.
You can leave the park. Go if you're at the Magic Kingdom. Hit the Contemporary or the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, and have lunch there.
Yeah. If you're at Epcot, go over to the Beach Club, Yacht Club.
Exactly.
Maybe get some beaches and cream, or maybe a little Captain's Grill.
Yeah, some of the best counter services are at the different resorts, especially the deluxe resorts. Yeah, so that's a good tip. I've got one. Don't have park tickets for every day.
That's a good call.
Take a day off, and typically you want to take that day off in the middle of your trip. Kind of take that day off because there's so much more to see at Walt Disney World than just the 4 theme parks.
I'm going to go throw this at you. Get the extra day of tickets, but only go in for a couple half days.
Ooh.
Say, we're going to go in tonight. We're going to sleep in. We're going to do the pool here at the hotel. We're going to explore a couple resorts, and then we're going to go into the park after lunch.
Boy, that's tough to get people to do.
Yeah, it can be.
It's tough to get people
That's a more
do.
veteran park thing to do.
Yeah.
But you got to, tell people. Some people, they wake up and they think we got to hit the park from dawn till they close.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of explain it to people, and sometimes they'll just have to find it out on their own.
Right. Yeah. They're not going to listen to you anyway.
They're not going to listen to the veterans of us out there that are telling people.
Yeah.
Because, once you get the, 5 or 6 days, it's like another $1 for like another day or something.
Yeah, it's very, very inexpensive once you start tacking on extra days. So
there's 2 ways to look. I see it. I like it.
I like that. I like that. I like taking a break where you can explore. You can just kind of explore your own resort. You don't even have to go exploring other resorts.
Right.
You just explore your resort. So anything else you can think of for that very first time going down to Walt Disney World?
Sunscreen. Be prepared.
Oh, my.
Besides the hydration and nutration.
Yes.
Sun protection.
Yeah.
Because nothing's going to ruin your vacation quicker than a bad burn.
Oh.
You can't sleep. You can't walk.
Yeah. And if it's that first day, you're done. You've ruined your entire vacation.
And the kids, oh my gosh, make sure the kids have sunscreen on too.
Make sure the kids are take lots of pictures. Make sure you use your photo pass.
Photo pass. Comfortable shoes.
Very comfortable shoes.
Take shoes you've already broken in.
Yep.
That's very important.
Plan on doing a lot of walking. And just take it slow. I try to tell everybody, take it slow. It seems like you're going to want to hit it all. You can't. You just can't. So just slow down. Take a look around. Enjoy some stuff. Take in some of this streetmosphere. Actors and that they're going around the parks.
Here's something else I'm going to throw out at you. If you're in the queue line, one of the many queue lines you'll be in.
Yes.
Talk to the people around you.
I don't like talking to people.
I know you don't.
I'm an introvert.
No, it'd be a way to find out about maybe other resorts or other tricks.
Absolutely.
Just find out where people are from.
Yeah.
It can be fun.
It's a good call. Real quick, I got one other one is don't be afraid to shop early in the day. Maybe that can be your break, is go shopping, because if you're staying on property, you can have your purchases sent back to your hotel.
They just beam them right over.
It's no problem whatsoever.
Another great tip. You are full of them today. You've done this before.
I am full of it today.
You should do a show.
Nobody'd listen.
No, who would listen?
Nobody'd listen. But I guess we've kind of scratched the surface here.
We hit the big parts. If we didn't, let us know. We'll put them out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tim.
Yes, Bob.
That's all I've got.
Oh, what could I follow up with that? I'm Tim Scott. You can find me on Twitter at ResortLoop at the Facebook at Tim ResortLoop Scott, and we meander a little at the website ResortLoop.com.
If they wanted to reach us by snail mail, how would they do that?
That would be P.O. Box 1510, Massillon, Ohio, 44648.
What was the pause on the last one?
It's very dramatic. Very dramatic.
Or you can reach us at Facebook /ResortLoop. Of course, our emails.
Right.
Bob at ResortLoop.com and Tim at ResortLoop.com.
That's true.
If you want to do it that way. Say
else?
what you say, Tim.
Bob, what's your social security number?
It is 1.
Never mind, everybody. This has been
551. What?
Yeah, exactly. This has been the Gateway to the Magic.
See you, everybody.
Rolling in the 5.0. The window's down so my hair can blow.
Wow.
I know.